I'm going to do a quick tutorial today on how to hold your file. I'm finding a lot of nail techs haven't learned this in school. Colleges simply are not spending the necessary time with their students to teach them how to do this. So I'm finding nail techs are coming out of school with a lot of bad habits and they need to break them. I recently had a client who went to a salon and she said, I've never seen anybody hold a file like that. She said it was weird and I was uncomfortable. So we're just going to address how to hold the file. So step one, you've done an extension or you're working on your client, and the first thing you're going to do is file the side walls. So you're holding your file in your hand like this. Your finger is up here, and your finger is what you're using to put the necessary pressure where you need to. You need to hang on to this file so it doesn't go flying. Okay, so we're going to file the side walls. So I'm holding my file parallel to the side wall and I'm making sure it's straight, and again my finger is putting the pressure where I need it to. If I need to taper it down a little bit more here, then my finger is going to push on the file here. If I need to put a little bit more pressure up here, then my finger is going to push up there. And so you're just going in a nice back and forth motion. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So we're still holding our file similar, except my index finger is now underneath and I'm holding my file like this. And I'm going to use my thumb as a pressure guide. Okay, so I'm holding the nail and my thumb is either making the pressure, So my thumb is making the pressure up here or down here, wherever it needs to go, okay? So then, and this is where the biggest mistakes are made, you're gonna do the free edge. When you are holding the free edge, this is how you're holding your file. Hang on to it, okay? So you're holding on to it nice and tight. I don't wanna see people do this. You have no control over your file if you're doing this. I don't want to see people do this. I don't want to see you filing like this. Proper technique, hold that file. So you're going to hold it straight and you're going to go back and forth. So the file is resting on my ring finger, okay? And so we're going back and forth and you can see the file is bending. I'm putting a lot of pressure on here and I'm going back and forth, back and forth. The next thing we're going to do is bevel underneath. So again, this is how I'm holding the file when I bevel underneath. And I'm going underneath this way and I'm going to turn it around. So I'm holding my file this way now and I'm beveling underneath this way. Okay? So you always have control over your file. So the next thing I'm going to do is file my sides to get a nice C-curve. So this is how I'm going to hold my file. And I'm not lightly holding it in my hand. I've got a firm hold on it. Can you see? I'm kind of indenting the file. This is a cushion file, so you can see. I'm holding on tight. This file is not going to fly out of my hands. So I'm going to put my pressure down here, and I'm going to go back and forth, or I can do simple strokes towards the center. Okay? But this is how I'm holding my file. Now I'm going to do the other side, and I'm back to my index finger being on the back and my pressure going there. Okay? And so here we're going back and forth. So now we're going to file the top portion of our nail. So I'm going to hold the file like so, and I'm going to go in a downward motion so that I'm tapering the free edge and keeping my apex up here. So I'm actually holding the file on a 45-degree angle, but I'm hanging on, okay? And we're going like so, okay? Another technique that you can use, and this one here takes a lot of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's very effective in filing the nail. So you're taking your index and your middle finger, and you're putting them between the file. You're resting your ring finger here, and then your thumb goes on top, okay? So you're holding the file this way. So thumb is on top, index, and I'm gonna bring my ring finger up here as well as an extra balance. Okay, so we have this little middle finger under, index finger, and ring finger on top. And I'm just gonna do like a boomerang. And I'm gonna file this way. Your pressure when you're filing is in this part, and you're really gonna get an effective shape out of your nail if you can master this technique. So the next thing I'm gonna do is go into the cuticle area. You gotta be really careful when you're going into the cuticle area. And again, when I'm doing this left side, this is how I'm holding my file, okay? And I'm going from the cuticle down. I have to be careful here because my tip is gonna come off. Okay, so nice and careful, and I'm going in a downward motion. When I flip to the right side, my index finger comes back this way. And so we're going from the center down, always nice and careful. When you're doing the cuticle area, you want to hold your file on a 45-degree angle, and you have to be careful that you do not cut the client. All right? So those are your steps. So I'm holding the file either this way, like this, or this way. And when you're filing the free edge, you're holding your file this way. So your file is straight up, and you're using this part of the file. Okay, so practice, 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 practice. Especially if you've been out of school for a couple years and you've been doing nails for a long time, you need to relearn how to hold the file, because this is your basics. This is your foundation. And if your foundation isn't good, then your shaping is not going to be good either. And you don't want to make the client uncomfortable. They want to have confidence in you that you know what you're doing, okay? So just practice how you're going to hold the file. When I switch the angle of my file, I will tap it just to kind of move it around, but that's something that I do. So if you have any questions, I do have a Facebook support group that you can find me on. I'm just going to pull it up here quickly. You can ask to join my Facebook group, and you can post pictures. You can ask me any kind of questions that you want on this group. This is what it looks like here. So the nail files and Goldsmith students. So definitely find me on Facebook, and we'll give you some continued support.